This here is Boom Studios' Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Shattered Grid finale. There are more pages than usual, so I'll keep this as short as I can. The battle from issue number 30 continues with the different Rangers and their Zords taking on Drakkon's forces. Due to the size and power of Serpentera, the Rangers' Zords are being taken out rather quickly. Carter suggests creating a new Megazord formation, so Jen scrambles the schematics of the Zords still intact in order for them to combine with Hyperforce's Megazord. They're really being heavily promoted in this comic now. They also need the Black Dragon because the Megazord needs to be able to grow to match Serpentera's size. So the selected Zords from Dino Charge, Jungle Fury and Zeo are used to form a new Megazord, with no name. Kendall says if they survive, Hyperforce can name the new Zord. Jason also wants in on the action, but of course he doesn't have a Zord. So he asks Noah for the Q-Rex Zord. Yet another Rex Zord for Jason. So the plan is for Jason to take out Drakkon's tower whilst the Megazord holds back Serpentera. But Serpentera breaks free and approaches the Q-Rex. Lauren warns Jason, but he's not running away. He tells Lauren that what she was trying to tell him before, he feels the same way. And he goes on to fire the laser cannons as Serpentera chomps down on the Q-Rex. A noble sacrifice from Jason as he succeeds in taking out the tower. Drakkon's anti-rangers start losing their powers and the new Megazord also finishes off Serpentera. As the Rangers wonder if Jason could have survived, a giant Drakon appears like he did at the start of Shattered Grid, breaking through time and space, which horrifies Jen. Inside Drakkon's base, the Ranger Slayers team are freeing the prisoners. Desluja is in on the action, so finally, he or she is actually doing something in this comic, but there's still no mention of the Ranger's name. So we still don't know much about this new Ranger. Drakon's sentries continue to lose their powers as the Ranger Slayer realizes the Rangers have succeeded in taking down the tower. Deathluja tells her to take it as a blessing as they need to get to Promethea. As Grace tells everyone to strap in, Corone sees space being shattered and Promethea is engulfed in light the same way the other Rangers were. And now things get weird. Tommy is in a house telling his mum that he can't eat anymore. His dad calls Tommy's mum Rita, and in turn Rita calls his dad Zordon. He's even reading a newspaper which says Drakon the Glory Road. There's even a dog named Kruger. This is an alternate universe of sorts. Tommy says he needs to leave to save the city, so this Tommy seems to be a good guy. He morphs, but not in the usual Mighty Morphin way. He pulls his shirt apart, much like Superman from DC Comics, and says, "It's Morphin time." There are giant beasts approaching the city, but Dragonzord and Tigerzord are on the shore standing by. Jen is piloting the Tigerzord, but both Zords don't appear to do anything, as Tommy arrives and starts taking on the two beasts, which look like a tiger and a falcon. So are these supposed to be Tommy's powers, the Tigerzord and the Falconzord? Tommy's morphed form is that of the giant Drakon before the world was shattered. After Tommy takes out the beasts, the reporter even addresses him as Lord Drakkon, and thank him for saving them. This Drakon is depicted more like a superhero, such as Superman with the cape and the ability to fly. Two of the reporters are Zack and Trini, who apparently are Drakkon's favourites. Apparently, the attacks from the beasts are becoming more frequent and Drakon is always there to protect the city. So, what is going on here? Suddenly, Drakon hears a voice and when he turns to a camera, he sees an image of Tommy saying none of this should exist. With Drakon feeling uncomfortable, he flies off to his own home where he's greeted by the normal Finster and not Finster 5. Billy is also there, who seems to be a mechanic who just finished fixing Drakon's car. Drakon's even got his own martial arts academy with Lauren and Jason acting as the senseis. It appears that good things have happened for this Drakon. He's friends with the Rangers. Finster is in a bit of a panic as he tells Drakon there's another attack. This time the Zords really are in action. Jen is in the Tigerzord again, but we still don't know who's in the Dragonzord. They're holding out for Drakon, who then flies in and takes on the beasts again. This time, there's a bear involved. So it's not just Tommy's powers after all. But are they ranger powers? Aisha had the ninja bear powers in the movie and the TV series. Drakon is interrupted by images of Tommy again. So it seems Drakon created this world in a bid to make him whole. Drakon claims to be a god, but Tommy says he's a god who can't tune out a hallucination. Granted, Drakon does have a lot of godlike power here, as he takes out another beast in the form of an ape. But then he gets tired out from the fighting and Tommy taunts him again, saying he's a god who gets winded. Drakon asks why Tommy is tormenting him. He tells him he should not have this much power. Nobody should. The truth and motives for Drakon's actions become clear as Tommy reminds him of what he saw in the green chaos crystal before. He saw a multiverse where there were also Tommy Olivers. In every one of those, Tommy was good except Drakon's own. And that's when Drakon reverts back to his true form with the veins on his face. So Drakon still thinks of Tommy as a weakness that he overcame by killing each version of him. But Tommy says it's this weakness that led to Drakon creating this new world and keeping the Power Rangers alive so they could worship him. Basically, the point of all this was that Drakon realised he was the flawed Tommy Oliver across the multiverse. Drakon is angered and just fires off a blast of energy to stop Tommy taunting him. As Drakon flies off again, voices speak to Tommy telling him that the barriers are weak and that this is the best chance to make a move. Tommy then smashes through a shard of glass. That's the end of that, as we now go back to the other Rangers. Lauren and Jason talk about their visit from Drakon earlier, when something stops them in their tracks. Jen is finishing her work for the day and then something stops her. As Trini and Zach work on their story together, even they're interrupted by something. And then there's Billy, who's working on something when suddenly there's a green glow. But finally we see Kimberly, who's closing up shop where she works, when someone walks in. She bows down to Lord Drakkon, but he tells her he just needs her to remember. And with that, Kimberly starts remembering everything. Tommy's death and his funeral. Her memories return as she realises it's Tommy that's beside her, not Drakon. Kimberly realises that Drakon built this world after he got into the Morphin grid. She remembers everything up to the sky opening, but she had this other set of memories because of Drakon reshaping reality. And then the other Power Rangers enter with all their memories returned. So Tommy visited them all and restored their memories. Drakon is back at home talking with Finster. He says that his world rejects him and the energy beasts he's been fighting are growing stronger. Finster thinks he's just working too hard. He suggests going on a relaxing drive in the car that Billy finished working on. But then he says that he can't find Billy since he left with Drakon earlier, which alarms him. And now we see why Tommy is here and how he knows everything. It started before he met the Power Rangers. Going back to Go-Go Power Rangers, the Ranger Slayer shot Tommy with an arrow containing a shard of the Chaos Crystal. It was the same crystal Drakon supercharged by killing Tommy. On his death, the shard reacted. So Tommy knew exactly what the Ranger Slayer meant by understanding everything when the time was right. He was taken out of space and time, similar to Zordon, so he could watch the events unfold as Drakon won the war. As to how Tommy got to this world and how this world came to be, Tommy explains by revealing the emissaries to the Rangers. They were first shown in the free Comic Book Day special. The emissaries represent the Morphin Masters, and once they got their powers back, Tommy was able to wake up the Rangers and reconnect them with the Morphin grid so they could get their powers back. As the grid's last line of defense, the emissaries fought Drakon, but he managed to defeat the three of them. That allowed him to gain access to one of the most powerful objects in existence, called the Heart of a Master. Interesting image of a beast-like ranger for the good guys. Anyway, the other Masters' whereabouts were unknown for some reason. So the three that just remained just watched Drakon conquering dimensions, worlds, universes, then making them cease to exist before creating this messed up world. The emissaries managed to escape and found Tommy. He says Drakon is a man filled with self-doubt and hatred. The energy beasts that have been attacking are manifestations of his self-doubt. And it's that self-doubt that enabled Tommy to reach this world. They need to take the heart of the Master and return it to the grid to undo everything. But then Drakon shows up and he's back to his old self as he's determined to destroy the Power Rangers. So the Rangers start to fight Drakon with the intention of ripping the heart of the Master from his suit. At first, Drakon seems like he has the upper hand as he easily overpowers the Rangers. But then the Tiger Zord and the Dragon Zord show up to stun Drakon. Seems like Lauren is piloting one of the Zords. Drakon flies up towards the Zords, but then Tommy intercepts him and grabs the heart of the Master. We then see Tommy and Drakon in darkness. Neither of them have their powers as both have control of the heart. They have equal power, meaning they don't have any power at all. This makes the playing field fair as Drakon and Tommy fight with grounded martial arts. Drakon is mad that Tommy won't die. He tells Drakon it's because he's stronger than him. The reason for that is because he is part of a team. He has friends. Drakon, on the other hand, was too scared to allow the Rangers into his life. Tommy then defeats Drakon and is in possession of the heart. And in doing so, reality is coming unmoored. Drakon believes Tommy destroyed what's left of existence just to stop Drakon from being a god. Tommy says that wasn't the plan. A crack in the ground begins to separate Drakon from the Rangers as the emissaries tell the Rangers they need to leave. Tommy tries to get Drakon to go along with them so that they can help Drakon, so he won't have to be alone. Drakon turns away from Tommy though, which seems to sadden him. The Rangers are now in the Morphin grid. Lauren thought everything would be fixed, that the emissaries would rebuild the multiverse. But that isn't what they do. They protect the heart, not wield it. The Rangers, however, can rebuild the multiverse. They can shape a new existence or put things back to the way they were before. But obviously in doing so, they won't remember any of this. Zack wonders what will happen to the Coinless and Drakon. The emissaries say that existence would return to its original form as best it can be, but there will be some changes. The multiverse has been broken, and like a shattered pane of glass, it won't fit back together like before. Kimberly seems to realise the implications. She's going to lose Tommy again. Lauren realises she won't remember Jason, so she won't be in love with him when things return to normal. But Jason says that's not why they're the Power Rangers. They make hard decisions and take the necessary action for the good of all. He looks at Lauren as he says everything they did mattered, but they have to put things back for the good of everyone. Lauren smiles in agreement. These two really do make a good couple, and it's a shame that it's ending already. Tommy and Kimberly take this chance to share a kiss before they all touch the heart and reset everything. And that's the end, but now, time for a sneak peek at what's to come beyond the grid. Promethea is flying through space. There appear to be problems aboard, but Rangers from different teams are there to save the people. So we're going to have a new team to look forward to. So overall, what did I think of the Shattered Grid finale? It was poor. There was just too much emphasis on Tommy yet again. The world that Drakon created was like glorified fan fiction. Drakon/Tommy was Superman. So Drakon all this time wanted to have friends, so he went about killing alternate versions of himself and killed a lot of other people in the process. That makes no sense at all, and it doesn't even tie back to his actions of the previous issues. Or even if it does, it just seems a bit of a jump in logic. He seemed hellbent on destroying everything, and now we suddenly see him wanting to eat pie at his mum and dad's place, who happen to be Rita and Zordon. What's even worse is the fact that Drakon was still alive at the end and the actual ending was ambiguous, meaning that Drakon might come back yet again. Not to mention the fact that everyone's memories will be wiped, so that's another crossover cliche being used here. And also, with the hype of Tommy being dead forever, it now seems likely that he's going to return as well. This was a disappointing conclusion to something which started off so well. I didn't get the ending I wanted, but at least there won't be any more of this, so there won't be any further disappointment from Shattered Grid. I know this conclusion has divided readers of the comic. Some are like me, they hated this finale. Others liked it. I'm just looking forward to seeing how the comics will continue from here. This really does need a fresh start after all.